Hi crafters, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today I ask you to take a ride on the struggle bus with me. So I have a couple stencils here to show you from a Colorful Life Designs. This first one called Struggle Bus. It says all aboard the struggle bus, and it has a funny story behind it which I'm going to tell you as I make today's card. The other stencil is Random Boxes, and here's a photo of the finished card to show you the direction that we are headed. So I have my blending brushes, I have a panel of 120-pound accent opaque, and I'm just going to kind of kick this stencil off to the side of this panel. But I want to do some ink blending first to kind of create some interest to frame the sentiment. Now, the story behind this funny stencil is Mary Kay, the owner of A Colorful Life Designs, thought it was funny in my videos that I'm always referencing, riding the struggle bus when I'm having troubles. So she made this as a custom stencil just for me, and I proceeded to show it in my intro vid for all the other September stencils, thinking that it was just part of the release. Didn't realize that it said custom for Amy Schrock right on the bottom of the stencil. So while I'm telling you about the struggle bus story, I was actually riding the struggle bus at that time. So basically, I went ahead and I created my intro vid and I laughed about the stencil and I showed it along with all the other ones. And then I proceeded to make this card that you're seeing right here, all before I realized that it wasn't actually originally going to be part of the release. So naturally, I reached out to Mary Kay and asked her to add it to the release because I think it's awesome and I think y'all will like it. But also because, I had already kind of framed it as if it were part of the release. So that's the little happenstance. That's what happened here. She tried to send me something kind of funny just for me, and I evidently need something flashing and neon in front of me for me to catch on. So there's that. But anyway, I love this stencil. I think it's hilarious, and I think a lot of people will like it. So I'm really so thankful that she agreed to add it into the September release so that it's available to you guys as well, because I feel like many of us are, taking our rides on the struggle bus from time to time. So that's the story of this fun, unique stencil that was originally created for me. But anyway, you can see I've just done some simple ink blending here. I kind of laid down the base color and then I brought in that Random Boxes, and now I'm coming in with like a deep blue Catherine Pooler color just to kind of create the sentiment on the front of this panel. So you'll kind of see how I rework the process as I go. I don't really have a plan, but I did want to kind of deepen the vignette around it. So I did come back in with my blending brush and just some residual ink from that blue, and I'm just kind of deepening around the edges. Now, as you can see here, this red binder is actually full of my critters. I know that I want to make it kind of a snarky critter card, and I have a couple of stamps in this binder that I'm thinking will work, but because I don't really have a plan, I'm just kind of winging it, and I will be flipping through to kind of figure out the best choice for this particular card and the composition and all the things like that. So as you'll see here, once I get this out of the way, I'm just going to clean my work surface and then kind of start flipping through this binder. Now I use the same concept as my sentiment binder for my critters. So these are all die cut or fussy cutout critters. This little dragon from the Grumplings from Tailored Expressions would have been awesome too. But as you saw, I did end up going with the bird. I think it's a Tim Holtz. But ultimately, I will link everything that's available in the video description box below. If you expand and scroll down, you'll find all those details. But these are my little baseball card pockets. These particular ones have the little lip on them. If you've recently watched my video about my binder system, you'll see that I actually showed you the two different sorts of pockets that I use. They both kind of have pros and cons, but these do have the little lips, which help kind of keep the stuff in there, and you can pack them a little bit fuller than you can without the ones that don't have the little kind of lip on the top to stop them from falling out. So I'm just kind of flipping through just to make sure that that's what I want to do. But as you saw, I did end up using that bedraggled looking little bird. This would have been funny too. I think that's a Ellen Hudson. Lots of options here. Oh, these are hilarious. I really considered this, and I kind of want to redo it and find a way to kind of build this into the composition because, and I even considered doing it upside down. Just because, you know, it fits the sentiment, right? So, oh, and this pig. So they're like celebrating critters. I think they're journals for life is what that is. If they're still available, I'll link that as well. But oh my gosh, that'd be so funny. Just like some random screaming animal to kind of go along with the sentiment. But anyway, I was entertaining myself as I was building this. The one drawback was I didn't have any teal kind of in my design. So my way to give this card balance and kind of tie that color in that's on the bird is just to come in with my teal blending brush and kind of lay some of that down throughout the card with some very subtle ink blending. And I felt like that just tied it all together and brought enough teal in there to make that little funny critter work. And he also kind of fit perfectly, his little tail jutting out into that opening space. So happy coincidence there. I am going to round the corner with my corner jumper tool. Excuse me, I'm going to use the 1/2 inch side just to kind of give this some visual interest, but then ultimately I will just attach that little critter down in that little designated space. So I'm so happy with how this turned out, and I'm still laughing over the circumstances of this stencil. So basically I let her know moving forward that if there's something that comes in the folder that's not supposed to be in the release, that she needs to put like a bright neon green post-it note and say no or something on it, just because yeah, like I said, I ride the struggle bus just like I did here. Here I'm just giving the critter some dimension here with these little thin foam strips. I get these from Amazon. They're my favorite. I've still never even made it through a full pack. I've given some away. I use them all the time. At the time of filming this, I think they're less than $10 or around $10 for, I think you get 10 pages of these, so like 500 of them. And yeah, they last an exceptionally long time, and they're so great to go behind fiddly little dies or like the little, you know, jutting out points on this little bird, or they're great behind any sort of sentiment strip. And here I'm just going to add a little bit of blingage. These resin drops are also my favorite. I use them all the time. I'm going to lay them down in odd numbers with my jewel picker and my Barely Art glue. And that's basically going to finish the design. So not a lot to it. I was able to use 2 awesome stencils. I do have a coupon, Amy Fan 10. If you shop, you'll save 10% on your complete order at A Colorful Life Design. So be sure to use that at checkout. And that's going to finish my card. So thank you for boarding the struggle bus and taking this journey with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing. And be sure to check out the shop and all the amazing stencils. So thanks for watching. Bye.